Hey there, I'm Kai, and if you're new here, I'll catch you up a little bit. A couple years ago, I sold my school bus tiny home to move in with my longtime best friend turned boyfriend to live out our happily ever after here in Southern Arizona in the house that he owns. And that's pretty much how it's played out over the last few years. And it would seem safe to say that the story's over. That's it, the end. But after some pretty tragic struggles we both went through this past few months, we found ourselves face to face with pretty much the biggest decision of our life so far. Turns out our story has only just begun. I guess you can take the girl out of nature, but you can't take the nature out of the girl. A couple years ago, I asked Akbar, my partner, for chickens for my birthday. And then the next year, we went ahead and got a ton more. We have planted over 10 trees at his property since I've moved in. We've also planted gardens, and we got a little kitten too. My partner Akbar is a soccer coach, and his business here locally just started doing really, really well. It was a no-brainer that us living our life here in the city was just the way things were going to be, at least for the time being. And so I dove headfirst into my own business where I host really cool nature yoga events and retreats for people. Even though I was seeing a lot of progress in that business, I actually started to see a lot of negative effects on my health. I was working way too much, taking on way too many things. I have an autoimmune disease that makes taking on a lot of stressors sometimes really complex. It became clear at the end of last year that things needed to change. If I wanted to, have kids someday and have a normal cycle and just be able to do a lot of the things in my life that me and my partner were planning. So while my health was kind of going downhill, something else also happened in Akbar's world that turned our lives on their head a bit.
I tore my ACL and meniscus, and I've been living on this couch until up
Right
to like
there.
a week ago, literally for 3 months. So it's been somewhat a shitty time, but it's also been a growth time because all this other cool stuff happened.
So my dream when I bought my school bus and I started converting it into a tiny home was to live a life that was a lot more simple and a lot more slower paced. I wanted to live as close to possible to nature that I could. It started to feel like a someday, one day, maybe never plan. That is until now. He just had some time to separate from what he was doing, all the plans he had, the way he thought life was going to go.
Naturally, you would do if you were injured and just laid in a bed. You just think.
The day that he was like, I'm just thinking we should sell it all and buy land, I was like, I'm going to take this with a grain of salt, like he's not in his best frame of mind. He had some like dips, and I wouldn't call it depressions, but he had some low spots. Cried really hard one night.
Like just sitting, making you think, just made me realize if we are in a place where we could do something crazy epic like that, like why wouldn't we?
I had actually gone to see a property because I have Zillow open all the time. I'm like that person where I've just kind of never let up hope. And I actually drove out to go see a property that I thought was really beautiful, immediately fell in love with it. I was just so blown away by this property. It seemed like it checked every single box that we had been looking for. But when he started to make these comments, I was like, there is a property that I saw that I actually really love. I think you might like it too. Like, let's go see it. And he's like, let's go see it.
First impressions?
Could this be our future home?
If somebody's watching this video, that means we've got it. That would be crazy.
He loved it. He said, oh my gosh, this is great. I think this is actually the property we should move forward with. The next 2 weeks were like a whirlwind. We were in touch with realtors. We were looking up like permitting regulations and county regulations. And now, 2 weeks later, we are under contract for 12 acres in rural Arizona, and I just couldn't be more excited. It doesn't feel real. I just feel like I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for all of the paperwork to get done and for things to finally be official. And so once it is official, we will go ahead and make a video sharing everything about that land. But for now, I just wanted to give you a huge update. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being here. If you found me during my skoolie adventure, then hopefully you have some interest in where we're headed next. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to share for now. I guess there is one more thing.